Hey, hello there. Today I'm going to talk about Smilax. Smilax is a briar. It goes by many names: catbriar, bullbriar, sawbriar, greenbriar. And these names could be names for different varieties of the plant, or it could be a regional name that just covers all of them. But whatever the name, we can call it Smilax, and it is a good wild food. Smilax is hard to kill by mowing. It just keeps coming back up from a big chunky tuber, and it spreads easily. It climbs all over everything. Most people just want to get rid of it, but we can eat it. As far as nutrition, I have not found anything specific. I did some looking around, and all I can get is that it is supposed to be full of vitamins and minerals and other nutrients, which is very general, but it's probably also true, since many of the wild plants, especially the weedy wild plants, are very full of nutrition because they have to be. So first, let's look at how to identify Smilax. Now, Smilax, of all the varieties, will follow this same pattern. There may be some exceptions, but as long as you find this pattern, you know that you have something that you can eat. You're going to find a long stem. It's like a long vine. Technically it's classified as a climbing shrub, but for your practical purposes you're going to look at it and you're going to think, hey, this is a vine. And it has thorns. And then the leaves are alternate. They alternate. There'll be a little a stem, or I'm not sure of the exact botanical term, because I think this would be the stem, maybe a petiole. Anyway, we'll call this a stem, and then there will be a single leaf, and the shape of that leaf can vary depending on the variety of Smilax that you have, but you'll have a single leaf, and then underneath that leaf on the stem there will be two tendrils. Then you go up, and then it alternates, and on the other side you have a single leaf and two tendrils. Then it alternates to the other side, a single leaf and two tendrils, and this pattern continues all the way up the plant. And that is how you identify Smilax. A long vine, a long thorny vine with alternate single leaves, and each leaf has two tendrils. That you can eat. Before I forget, I should also tell you where not to harvest plants, and that is anywhere that has been sprayed with a pesticide, especially one to kill these sawbriars, the Smilax, and also by the sides of roads. Now, you might get by with a very little traveled road, maybe a dirt road somewhere that doesn't get much traffic, but the problem with the sides of roads is that anytime anything washes off of that car, gasoline, oil, steering fluid, paint, anything that was being carried in there, it sits on the road, and then when it rains it washes it off onto the side of the road and into the ditches, and that flows with a bunch of polluted water that it may not kill you, but it certainly is not going to be healthy for you. And the plants will draw that up. It'll get into the soil, and the plants draw it up. Some plants more than others. Some plants are bioaccumulators of certain things, and I can't think of if Smilax is or not, but those types of plants will pull in excess amounts of these materials, and it can make it a bad experience for you if you eat them. But there's a good side to bioaccumulators too. If you have a polluted area on your property that you're trying to clean up, say you've spilled a certain chemical, if you find the right plant, you can plant that there, and it will draw up that mineral, that material out of the soil to help clean it up, so that later on you can plant something there that you can harvest. So there's that. I've found a few Smilax here. See the pattern back and forth with the leaves. There are two tendrils. They're kind of hard to see. They're wrapped around themselves, and ooh, it has thorns. But this one I've already picked the tip off of it here. So let's move over to these right here. Here we go. These are probably coming up from the same tuber. They may all be connected under the ground, but they follow that good pattern. The leaves alternate back and forth. At each leaf there are two tendrils. Again, they're kind of hard to see because they're wound around themselves, and it does have thorns. And here's how you harvest this. You just go back here a ways, pinch it, bend it over, and give it a little pull, and if it doesn't break off, then you move up another inch or so and bend it over, pinch and pull. Oh, and then when it breaks off, that's the edible part. And you can eat this raw, and it tastes a bit like a snap pea. It's pretty pleasant. It's not hard or chewy or tough, and the little thorns on it, they haven't hardened, so they won't poke your mouth. Let's take a look at this one. This follows the pattern, the back and forth alternating thorns. At each leaf there are 2 tendrils. So let's grab this, pinch, pull. Oh, there we go. There's another Smilax. I have one more here. It follows the pattern. You can eat these raw, but you probably shouldn't eat too many of them raw because it can give you a stomach ache, especially if you're not used to it. And as I've discovered, I really prefer them cooked now. Okay, see, this alternates, and it's a vine. Well, that one didn't alternate there. That one had a little oddity there, but generally this one's alternating. And it has 1 leaf per stem, but there are no tendrils and there are no thorns. So this is not a Smilax, and this is not something that we're going to try to eat. This would not be Smilax, this vine, because the leaves come off in a palmate sort of shape, and there's 5 of them instead of 1. So it doesn't follow the pattern, so we're not going to eat it. And they will just come up anywhere. They're good pioneer plants. They will break up the soil and make it ready for other more finicky plants. But here's one growing just in the rock edge of a path in my garden. And on this video, we're really just talking about eating the stems, the leaves, the aerial type parts, and not the roots. But the root is medicinal. Well, I should say the root has uses. In some plants, some species, it's considered medicinal, and you can also use it to get a starch from it. Although calorically, there's more energy you're putting into it than what you're getting out of it. And but anyway, all of that's really beyond the scope of this video. We're just doing a more simple introduction to Smilax. Now, where can you find Smilax? It seems like just about everywhere. Yards, forests, fields. It likes sunlight. Fine, here's another one here. Oh, now let's see here. This one, I really feel like this is a Smilax, but I don't see the tendrils. I don't see it following the pattern. So to be safe, see, I wouldn't pick this one. Oh no, here we go. It has some tendrils at the end. The ones just down at the bottom, something must have happened to them. So there's another one. You can find little bitty ones, which so far I've enjoyed those better. Or you can find big, thick, juicy ones, thicker around than a pencil, where you break them off and it gets this slippery sap on you. There's a little bitty leaf of one. I seem to be finding only one type in my yard. When I go out in the woods, I see several different varieties. But you'll find them in the woods. They seem to prefer. Here's another one. They seem to prefer being at the edge of woods, where they can still get a lot of sunlight, but they can climb up those trees at the edge of the woods. So you can find a lot there. But going back into the woods, you can find them there too, because they can climb up the tree and get to the sunlight. And that's where I find some of the biggest ones. The big ones are really handy for a trail snack, because you can get a lot of food for a little effort. But the smaller ones, or the smaller parts, they seem to cook up better, at least according to my taste and my preference. Lastly, now that we have some, let's talk about cooking it. I've already said that you can eat some raw, and that's fine. I don't want to scare you off of eating it raw, because it is a good little nibble while you're on the trail. Just be cautious. Listen to your own body, how you feel as you eat it, to make sure that you don't get too much of it. And you can always snap off a piece and throw it in a little travel bag compartment and save some for later to cook it up for supper. When you eat a wild plant for the first time, you should go slow. Your body already knows how to eat watermelons and cantaloupes and oranges and things that we find at the grocery store. You already have experience with all the grocery store foods. You know if you have a reaction to them or not. But the first time you go out and eat sawbriar, you don't know if you have an allergy to it, or if you're going to have just some type of reaction that's just particular between you and that plant. So take it slow. even if it is a plant that wouldn't normally give you a reaction, it is a plant that you've never eaten before, or probably not eaten before, and your body may not know what to do with it the first time that you eat it. So you should go slow so you don't have a negative experience. Just like if you are a hearty meat eater and you really love that triple meat pizza and, you know, thick hamburgers, and you never put any veggies on anything, and then you suddenly switch up to an all vegetable diet that's very high in fiber and maybe a lot of cruciferous vegetables, you can have a lot of stomach distress, not because those things are bad for you or because they are not compatible with your body, but just because you're not used to them yet. So same thing with wild plants. Start with a small amount and then gradually increase the amount that you're eating as you're sure that your body can handle it. Alright, let's cook us up some Smilax. Let me give you another disclaimer. I am not a good cook. I just kind of make things up as I go along, and I don't know all the correct terms. And you can feel free to copy what I do, or if you're any kind of a cook whatsoever, you may just want to alter this to where you think it would be better, because you're probably right. Okay, now what I'm going to do is add a little butter in here and olive oil, both, because it sounds right to me, and some black pepper, a lot of pepper, I like pepper. Get in there and start some heat on there, and some salt. Here are the ones we picked today. I'll rinse these off. And here are a bunch that I picked yesterday, and they're all limp, and they look pretty bad now after being stored in a hiking pack for so long, but I think they should still be all right. I'm just going to put these in as they are. Okay, so we have olive oil, salt, pepper, butter. Oh, it's a lot more than I thought I had. Butter. Butter makes everything better, right? Now, when I cooked this last night, I cooked the bigger stalks, and I probably could have cooked them longer. Get in here. I can just get this kind of stirred up here. I did not have high expectations, and it came out so good. And I'm not even making that up, like just to try to convince you to eat wild food. Because a lot of times wild food really isn't that exciting. You know, it's very healthy, it's excellent for you, but it just doesn't taste that great. This stuff was good, and this will become a regular part of my menu. And let's close that up for a little bit. This would be really good mixed in with a stir fry. This would be a great addition. But you can just fix some by itself the first time just to see how you like it. Let's check on this here. Here's a little tip about the butter. What I have read is that to be able to digest it, to be able to access a lot of the vitamins that are in your green plants, you need a little bit of fat because they're not whatever the nutrients are. I want to say vitamins. They're not water soluble. They're fat soluble nutrients. So you need to get a little bit of fat with your meal in order to properly digest them. Anyway, like I say, I'm not a nutritionist. That's just what I've read, what I've heard. There we go. Now, why do you need to cook them? What changes between when they're raw and cooked that it doesn't cause a bellyache anymore? Honestly, I don't know. If I was going to guess, I would guess since they taste like green beans or snap peas, maybe it's the same thing in the snap peas, that if you eat too many of those raw, it hurts your stomach, and if you cook peas, it doesn't. But that's completely just a guess. Okay, and this time, I thought I'd add a little Parmesan cheese. I may add it just on 1/2 here. Maybe not. Because I think that really would have gone good last time. Okay. Bon appetit. Okay, let me see if I can get me and the meal in here. Let's take a bite. I want to say it's kind of like cooked asparagus, but I think that's just because of the shape of it. the shape and the texture are like cooked asparagus, and I don't know if it's just in my mind that the taste is like cooked asparagus, or if it really, well, goodness. Let me just drop that on the counter. Okay. The most difficult food to get on your fork. Here we go. Mmm. Guys, no lie. This is good stuff. This is tasty. And it seems like I really do like the little pieces better. Let me get another one. I was right. Parmesan cheese. That's good. No, had to take that with it. Okay. Goodness. So, there we go. This could even be better because I'm a terrible cook, and if I really knew what I was doing cooking, I could make this so amazing. But there's no pokey thorns in there. It's not real tough, like you would think a wild plant would be. It's just a lot of goodness. This is like something you would bring out of your garden. I'm not sure why you don't find this in supermarkets. Anyway, here's the first video, Smilax. Let me know if you like it. You can give me a comment if you want me to do some more, or if you want more about identifying, or less about cooking them, anything like that, or if you have a request for a certain plant and you want me to do a video on that, let me know. Okay, till next time, see ya.